Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today's video, as you can probably tell, is something slightly different. I'm on my mobile phone at the moment. We're going to be doing a very slightly different video to usual. So today's video is going to be how to get a uniform Instagram theme. So now I'm just going to jump ahead straight into Instagram and show you my Instagram account here. So I kind of started one with these first 8 photos here. I didn't really have a theme going on throughout the entirety of my Instagram, but I do have a new theme that I've started now, which I'm trying to kind of work more towards. That's starting with this one here, all the way up to the most recent one, like this kind of blue photography kind of theme. So if you do want to go ahead and follow my Instagram, it's Matthew_GKB. Obviously I've got quite a few photos on my account. If you do want to send me any form of messages or anything, just send me a DM, and I usually get back to people pretty regularly. So if you want to get in touch with me, this is probably the best place to go ahead and do it. So today's video came as a request from one of our viewers, or one of my followers, one of our subscribers. He was having a bit of a problem with his Instagram theme. He couldn't see why his theme wasn't really looking very fluid and very consistent. So I'm going to be trying to aim today's video on how to edit a theme or get a theme to your Instagram page. So people go onto your account and they know exactly what your account's about, and it really looks like aesthetically pleasing, quite a nice look to it. So that's what today's video is kind of going to be aimed towards. Okay, so if you do want to find another theme or another Instagram account, this is my brother. He's called Sebastian_JWB. He's got a longer theme running at the moment. You can see his new theme, probably starting from the bottom there. These new photos, very vibrant, colourful photos, portrait kind of style. So this is another theme that you can see works or has been going on for a while. He's obviously changed his up as he's been going through. So this was kind of more of a muted, desaturated blue look, which is kind of similar to what I'm going for at the moment. Okay, so in order for me to explain this video better, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my second account. This is my new Instagram account. This is a lifestyle account I've literally just set up yesterday or a couple of days ago, I think it was, just to show you guys the behind the scenes of everything I'm doing, running my website, all the Instagram stuff and all the YouTube stuff. So if you do want to be working out what I'm doing, or you're interested in that kind of stuff, go ahead, give me a follow over here. I post all these photos and stuff. I'm posting probably 1 to 2 times a day, so quite regularly. So if you guys are interested in that kind of side of things and working out what I'm doing behind the scenes of like running a YouTube account and stuff, do go ahead and give me a follow over here as well. So the first thing I want to talk about in this video is you need to find what your theme is going to be about, or what your Instagram page is going to be about. So for example, this account here is more of a lifestyle thing. So things, for example, if I'm in a coffee shop or I'm doing editing, I'm doing work. So things like this one here, made a to-do list, updating the website, all that kind of stuff. Whereas my main account here, my photography account, as I just said, is based on like photography. So any landscapes or portraits or whatever, that's what the message is behind this Instagram page. So there are 2 very different messages behind the thing. So in essence, you don't want to be posting travel photos along with lifestyle photos, and then a picture of a dog, and then pictures of food, stuff like that. Like when it starts getting a bit confusing, that's when your theme starts looking a little bit chaotic, and people start getting confused as to why they're following your account, because you're posting so many random things. You can kind of get away with posting lots of random things if you're running a lifestyle account, because in essence that's what you do in your day-to-day life. But I'm not, obviously I'm not the best at this. You can see, for example, I don't really just post portraits, I don't just post landscapes, I've done some Photoshop art, so mine's been a bit chaotic at the moment, which is why at the moment I'm just trying to get it back on theme and trying to update it with this new look. My brother, for example, as you saw earlier, his was mainly portraits, photography, and he's got a very colourful, saturated theme. This one here is photography, portraits and landscapes, and then at the moment I'm going for this kind of desaturated blue theme with a bit of like urban portraits and stuff like that. So high clarity, high contrast. That's the kind of look I'm going for at the moment. And then again, if we go onto my lifestyle account, this one's a lifestyle account, and then I'm going for the white theme. So everything's got to be very clean, minimalistic, and white. That's the kind of vibe behind this particular account. So that's the first thing. That's tip number 1. Make sure you choose like a niche that you want to focus all your photos towards, so you can get a very engaging audience that really like your photos and will keep coming back just to see your photos, because they really like that kind of style stuff. The next thing is to go ahead and choose a color scheme. So for this one, I chose white because I like the whole clean look to it. Obviously it's not completely white, so this one's a little bit more blue. Obviously this one here, stuff like that, but it's still very clean and quite white. Now here is one of the accounts that I follow on my lifestyle account, Scandinavian Closet. You can see how this theme is very white, and it's all based on clothes. So their niche is clothing or fashion, And then they've gone for the kind of clean white minimalistic theme as well. Obviously all their photos contain different coloured clothes. So we've got the brown clothes, blue clothes, stripy clothes, all that kind of stuff. But it's obviously going for the Scandinavian theme with the white kind of colour scheme, and it's all going to be fashion. Okay, here's another one that I follow on this new account. As you can see, I'm following lots of minimalistic accounts just to kind of get some inspiration for myself as well. But this is, it's Alex Taiwan or something like that. This is his account. You can see his is also a very minimalistic white theme, going towards the tech, the kind of the cameras, the watches, camera bags, laptops, that kind of stuff. And he really kind of goes for these big shadows coming off all of his products and stuff, all of his images. So immediately when you go into this account, you can see what his account is about, and you can know what to expect. Okay, so that's the first tip, or first couple of tips. Once you've worked out what your niche is and what your colour scheme is, it makes your life so much easier, and you can really tell how to start posting your photos, and you can really start getting that theme together. So the next step, or the next thing that I would recommend doing, is taking a load of photos. So for this theme here, I haven't really taken loads of different style photos, but for my main account, when I was away on holiday, I took about 5 to 10 different photos. I color graded them all, and I had them ready to upload. I mean, I haven't really uploaded that regularly, but I've got them there ready and waiting, so I can kind of work out which order I want to be posting them in. So in order for me to work out what order I want to be posting my photos in, I use this app here called Planoly. There are lots of different apps out there. There's one called Preview. They all do pretty much the same thing. This one is a really nicely laid out one. I would definitely recommend going ahead and using this one. So the way that these apps work is it essentially shows your Instagram feed here. So these are all my photos, and if it has this little Instagram logo on the bottom right, it means they've been posted, and you can't go ahead and edit them on the app. But if you come down here and you see it says add media to start planning, you can click the plus button, and then you can see all these different things, all these different places where you can go ahead and you can get different photos for your Instagram account. So obviously if you've got them in your photo albums, come to album, choose your photo album. So for example, I've got an album on my phone called Lifestyle, which is all the photos that I'm planning on posting to this new account of mine. So as you can see, these two here, if you select them, it kind of selects them in this kind of peach kind of colour. These two are the new photos. Okay, so once you've added them, what it's essentially going to do is it's going to stick them up here straight into your Planoly kind of Instagram theme. So you can also go onto the free stock photos if you wanted to post like a stock photo, for example, to your account. So I've just typed in white here just so I can get a couple of photos as examples on how to put together your theme. So example, this one here I quite like this minimalistic one, and then maybe this one here of the mountains. And then we'll just add these two here as well. So if we just click add with those ones, what it's going to do is it's going to upload those onto our theme, so we can go ahead and start tweaking these things. So just come down here and click upload. And then there we go, straight away it's put them onto my Instagram page. So these aren't posted to my Instagram, so if I come down and I select my Instagram page and refresh it, you can see it hasn't posted those photos. They're not posted to my account, they're just on my Planoly page here. So this is the really interesting feature that you can go ahead and use. This is the feature that I really love. Basically what you can do is any of these photos with a U above it, you can go ahead and you can move them around just by holding on it and dragging. So you can see you can rearrange your Instagram theme. So for example, it's really quite useful to kind of work out the order that you want to start putting the photos in. So you see this photo here with a lamp, and then this photo here, those two are a very similar kind of color grade. This one here and the light coming down from the ceiling are also very similar. And then of course these two here are also quite similar. So what you can do now is you can essentially just drag things around and get them into a kind of an order that you really like the look of. So for example, I'm thinking this is looking pretty good at the moment, but I think I might just kind of move things around like this. I would not recommend, for example, putting two photos like this right next to each other, because you immediately go into the Instagram page and your eyes get drawn straight away to these two photos that look very similar. So what I usually do is I put something in between these two photos. So for example, that one, or I would put that one in between the two, simply because I like to break my theme up a little bit. So for example, that is a theme that I would really like the look of, and these are the photos, these are the orders that I'd go ahead and upload them. So it's a really useful app to go ahead and use, a really useful feature, because what you can do is you can go back, plan out your theme, plan out everything and all the orders everything's going to be going in, and get things ready to post. Okay, so that was the third tip, I believe, is using Planoly just to go ahead and plan out all the photos you want to go ahead and post to your Instagram page. And this really does help kind of get that consistent theme to your photos, because after all, once someone clicks on one of the photos, say for example this one, then they're just viewing that single photo and they're not looking at your Instagram theme. So it doesn't really matter the order you post them in terms of people appreciating each individual photo. What really matters is when someone comes onto your account and they see a really consistent and a really nice looking feed. So that is the way I like to go ahead and control how I upload all my photos and work it out. Okay, so those are the first main features of trying to get your theme looking really quite consistent. The next thing I want to talk about is the color scheme. So in order to get a really fluid color scheme that runs through all of your photos, obviously first thing, really important, you need to choose the color. So this one I've chosen white, but my other one I've chosen blue and desaturated. So what you want to be doing is essentially saving, I guess if you can, save a preset for each of your photos, so when you go ahead and you edit them, you can apply those presets to get a very similar look to all of your images. So things that I like to use, especially for these new photos I'm editing on my phone, I use VSCO and Aviary. These are two kind of apps, free apps that you can do lots of editing on your phone with. So say for example, this one, I've just uploaded this photo. Let's say I wanted to go ahead and post this one to my account. I'm just going to take you through what I would do to edit this to get it ready for my white Instagram theme. So you come to adjust and you can control lots of different features up here. Obviously not as in-depth as Lightroom or Photoshop or anything like that, so if you have got those and you have got better photos, then I do recommend using those, but just for on the go, for phone photos, I would recommend using these. So for example, for this one, I'm just going to bring up the brightness, bring up the exposure. Now because my highlights in the top right hand corner are kind of quite blown out, I'm going to come to my highlights and just bring those down a little bit, and just so I can kind of get a little bit of that detail back into things. In terms of the contrast, I like to increase the contrast a bit, and just to make those whites white and the blacks darker. Come to my warmth, I like to make things a little bit cooler, kind of gets that kind of cold white feel. If I go too warm, it gets very yellow and a bit gross looking, so bring it down, put it about -9, -10. Come to saturation, and I like to desaturate my photos a little bit, and I also like to take down the vibrancy down a little bit as well. So now if I hold it down, you can see the before and the after. Already making quite a big difference to the photo. So you can apply that. Then I like to come down to my effects, and if you've got effects like these, you want to go ahead and try and use the same effect for all of your photos. For example, I use Sentosa, but I don't apply it up to 100%. So for this one, I'm probably going to apply it to about 37. Just click the tick and then again click apply. The nice one that I like on this app is you can go ahead, you can add some text in, which is really quite fun. So for example, for this one, I might type something like create. I like to do it all in capitals, C space R-E-A-T-E, and click done. Then what we can do is you can change the font. So I like to use exactly the same font for all my photos. That's one thing I would definitely recommend, is if you are putting text on your fonts, really make sure all of your fonts are the same and your color schemes are the same. Consistency is a really important part of trying to get a unique and fluid Instagram theme. So don't go ahead and change things up. So for example, if I started using this font or this font, it would not go with my other photos. So I want to be going ahead and using exactly the same font in all my photos if I am doing text to my photos. Then what you can do is you can zoom it in, get it to a size you like. So for example, I quite like this size. I usually like putting my photos, or my text rather, right in the center of my photos. So I think that's roughly centered. And then I like putting my font in black. And then you can just go ahead and click done and click apply. And then it's applied that to your image. Now obviously the text doesn't really work too well on this photo, but what I like to do is put text on photos that usually aren't that great. So what you can do is you can click save and then click done, and then it saved that photo to your camera roll. Then I like to come to VSCO, and you can see here are all of my photos that I've done editing on in VSCO. You can go ahead and click the plus icon up, import that photo that you've just gone ahead and edited, tap on it again, and then click the edit icon, the scrolling icons down there. They also have lots of kind of filters, I guess. You can go ahead and you can apply it to your photos. I don't like using any of those filters, but you can also do some more editing and stuff in this one as well. So I might bring up the exposure in this one. I do find that the apps edit in very slightly different ways. So I know you're probably thinking you've already increased exposure on the other one, but for this one it does edit it slightly differently. So as you can see, if I bring up the exposure, it doesn't blow it all out too much. Then I can bring up the contrast quite a bit as well on this one. But the thing I like about VSCO is you can go ahead and you can change the sharpen, clarity, and you can put things like white balance and stuff. So for sharpen, I like to put in a little bit of sharpness into my photo, and I like to add some clarity into the photo as well. So something like that I really quite like the look of. I know it's got a lot of noise in the photo, but that's because we've done lots of editing to the photo. Saturation I'm just going to bring down a little bit more as well. And then on the white balance you can see, you can go ahead and you can tweak things a little bit. So what I like about white balance is you can really kind of correct the skin tone. So it's looking at the moment on 0, my skin's looking a little bit too blue. But if I bring it up to the right, it doesn't make the image look too yellow, but it kind of makes the white look a little bit more realistic. And you can also change the tint as well if you wanted to, but I don't like doing that. I like leaving the tint as normal. Okay, and then you can just click save, and then click the 3 icons, and then click save to camera roll, and then actual size. Okay, so now it's saved it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back into Planoly. So now it's added it to my Instagram page here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete all these ones that I've just imported from the stock images, because obviously these aren't my photos and I'm not going to be posting these to my account. They were just to kind of show you guys, like if you were to have these kind of photos, the look you can go ahead and you can achieve. So these are all my photos now. So now what I like to do is just position these in an order that I like. And I think that's an order that I think really works. Now, a good thing with this is you can start looking at the whites and you can work out, so for example, this one I think is a little bit too yellow. So I can go back and I can tweak that back in all my different apps and make sure everything looks very consistent. So now what I would do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post that photo to my Instagram account. So there we go, I've shared that new post and it's been added to my theme. So now you can see I've got 9 photos on my theme and it's already looking really simple, simplistic, minimalist and very white looking. So that is basically all I can tell you about how to make sure your theme looks very consistent and looks very similar all the way through. Okay, so that's the end of the video, guys. I really hope I've explained a little bit about how you guys can go ahead and get a uniform Instagram theme. So if you have enjoyed it and you are interested in following me on any of these accounts, do go ahead and give me a follow, and I will answer any of your questions if you want to send me a DM on either of these accounts. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Live long and prosper.